What it do? Bedtime crew. Hey man, listen, today I am here to talk about International Fight Week UFC 317. I think we all know what's going to headline this card. Both guys have been talking, well, not really both guys. Tom Aspinall's been talking about, the fight's fucking done pretty much. I'm sitting here having a bicarbonate soda, and John Jones has called me. He's ready to fight me. And Dana White has also said that the fight is pretty much done. So I am going to be talking about a fight card that is worthy of being main evented by John Jones versus Tom Aspinall, which is the fight that all of us want. And the end of June, International Fight Week, it's the perfect time to do it. I'm going to be building a main card, and then I'm going to talk about the prelims, which is kind of where I shine. I'm the best matchmaker on YouTube. That's a statistical fact. And I'm going to be building the Jones Aspinall card today. All right, man, let's get into this, dude. We know what the main event is, but I'm going to go from the opener of the main card. We're going to move upwards, all right? First fight that I want to see on the card, and the reason that I put this here is because we're not only building a fight card where I want entertaining matchups, big names, stuff like that. I want it to be realistic. I know there's going to be some fucking goofball in the comments. Dude, my card's way better, bro. I got Prime Fedor versus Stipe as the main event. I got Jones Aspinall as the co-main. I got Conor versus Topuria feature fight. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. This is going to be realistic, all right? But it's still going to be a banger. Opening it up, we got Gary versus Covington. Because think about it, like I said before, I'm not just building the fight card, I'm building a press conference. And we need these two up here, dude. This is the time to make the fight, because Ian Gary does this annoying fucking thing every fight week where whoever it is that we want to see him fight, he's like, you're going down, I'm going up. Why would I fight you? But now he's coming off a loss against Shavkat Rakhmonov, so he doesn't really have much say on who he fights next. And I think he would rather fight Colby Covington, who's ranked like 2 spots below him, than, okay, we can give you Vicente Luque, or we can give you, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like this is probably the most exciting big name fight that he can get that makes sense fighting someone down, because at this point, it should be Buckley versus Usman. Obviously, Shavkat's going to sit around waiting for a title shot, so it only leaves a couple of people, and I think Colby versus Gary at the press conference, Colby Covington up there.
The guy's a complete fucking joke of the division. The guy's a little cuck sitting in the corner. Conor McGregor sitting over there. I'm going to come across the table and slap you up.
And I just realized we have Colby and Jones at the press conference as well. Dude, this is going to be so goated. I'm a fucking genius, dude. Colby Covington versus Ian Gary on the same card as Jones Aspinall is so good, bro. Please put this on the card. That's going to be my opener, all right? Next fight that I want to see on this card. And this is kind of an underrated fight at lightweight that not a lot of people... Nobody's talking about this, lads. Nobody's talking about this fight. I want to see Arman Sarkarian versus Dan Hooker. I think this makes a lot of sense. Dan Hooker deserves a big fight. He was about to fight Big Rufus Justin Gaethje. We all know Gaethje's getting a title shot. And I think this is a perfect, logical matchup at lightweight, because I know Ilia Topuria versus Arman Tsarukyan's not getting made. The UFC is not going to risk... they're not going to risk Ilya losing to fucking Arman Tsarukyan. That's a fact. They're going to put him in there with Dustin or Charles. That's the options. And Charles Oliveira just said he's not fighting Ilya, which is really fucking annoying. Because my original fight for this card was going to be Ilya versus Charles. And then I opened Instagram today, and this fucking guy has refused to fight Ilya, which is very annoying, right? But that leaves a couple of big names left. Dan Hooker's on a win streak. He deserves a top 5 opponent to lose to. Arman Tsarukyan was supposed to be fighting for the belt. He deserves a top 5 opponent to beat before he gets his title shot. Put them in there against each other. They're both injured. They both need a little bit of time. End of June probably makes sense for both of these guys. I know Dan Hooker said he wants to fight on this card. And I think this would be a really interesting matchup, because Arman Tsarukyan 100% wins this fight. That's a real thing. He definitely wins this fight. But Dan Hooker's going to cope, bro. And that's very entertaining. Anyone that's from any sort of mountain region beats Dan Hooker, we never hear the fucking end of it. So please make this fight. Let's give Arman Tsarukyan a couple of weird shadows on his arm as well, so Dan Hooker can accuse him of using steroids. Let's get the whole storyline going. I think this is going to add to the press conference, and this is a good fight, but not really feature-worthy or opening up the main card-worthy fight. It doesn't have that kind of sting on it, but it is an important fight to make it lightweight, and I think it's a pretty cool matchup. Let's do Dan Hooker versus Arman Tsarukyan as the second fight of the card. Now, featured fight of this card, because the co-main event, Ilia Topuria is there. He's there, right? The main event is Jones versus Aspinall. We're already talking about 1.5 million pay-per-views, right? I think another fight that could take this over the edge and make it a really big pay-per-view. I don't know if I need to say pause after saying over the edge. I don't know. I'm going to just move on with that. I'm going to edit that part out, dude. But I think a fight that can push things over the edge in terms of star power, name value, but it's not going to distract from the fights that we all really want to see. It's definitely going to make the press conference very entertaining. I think the fight itself is going to be a fucking, point fest decision. But here's the fucking thing, you guys. Dude, dude, imagine a press conference where you have John Jones, you have Colby Covington, Ian Gary, and now Sean Strickland's up there as well. All Sean Strickland has to do is just fucking aimbot, look to his right, look to his left. Here's the fucking thing about Colby, you fucking guys. This guy's a fucking scumbag. Dude, this fight, this press conference is going to be generational. We've got everything that you want, everything that the casuals want. We've got Jones for the American old head casuals. We've got Whitaker for the Aussie. Mate, Whitaker's going to fucking head kick Strickland, bro. Then he gets rocked with a jab in round 2. But listen, man, do I think this fight itself would be very entertaining? Not really. But I think it makes sense. They're two big names. They have a lot of star power. They're going to add to the pay-per-view. But at the same time, I think the winner of this, you don't have to give them a title shot, but you can put them in another big fight, which both of these guys are made for. These are the type of names that you put co-main event of a pay-per-view, headline of a fight night, right? So let's match them up against each other before we lose the opportunity to see Strickland versus Whitaker point sparring. I think this is a cool fight, and I think, like I said, it's going to add to the press conference, it's going to add to the pay-per-view numbers, it's going to be an intriguing matchup. They're right next to each other in the rankings as well. The winner of this can fight maybe Nasruddin Imavov if he loses to the champion, or they can fight fucking Kaya Baralho. Whatever you want to do with the winner of this, it doesn't hurt to have Strickland versus Whitaker before we move on to whatever's next. And I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this unless it's true, then quote me on it and glaze me. I'm pretty sure they said to Sean Strickland basically, if you lose to Drickus, you can fight Robert Whitaker next. So I think this is a decent fight to make. And if Whitaker loses this, if Whitaker gets fucking stumbled by this guy, bro, come on, man. I can't defend you anymore if you get chinned by Sean Strickland, dude. Look at his angry face when there's a combined 3% finish rate between these guys. Dude, me, Strickland, and Whitaker have the same finishing rate of 2%, dude. Regardless of that, it's a big fight. Let's add it to the card as the featured matchup, all right? So we've got Ian Gary versus Colby Covington. Probably going to be boring, but the press conference is going to be lit, all right? Armin versus Hooker. Very entertaining matchup. I think that'd be fight of the night, low-key. We got Sean versus Whitaker as the featured fight. And now for the co-main event. Come on, dude. Come on, man. Come on, man. Shine bright like a diamond. Dude, come on, make this fight. Please, Dana. Please, Dana, make this fight. Charles Oliveira's ducking Ilyas Poirier. I never thought I'd say that. Islam Makhachev, I can understand why he's saying, listen, I'm not going to give this guy an immediate title shot. It is a little bit lame because I think if you're a logical, functioning-brained human, you're not going to hold it against Islam Makhachev if he beats a featherweight, which I do think he would beat Ilyas Poirier. I'm just going to be real here. I think he beats Ilyas Poirier, right? But I would not hold that against him as oh, this guy beat a featherweight. It's crazy how people do that, though. They literally will try and say, dude, Renato Moicano's your former featherweight, bro. It's not a real title defense. As if he did not weigh in heavier than Islam Makhachev. As if Charles Oliveira did not weigh in heavier than Islam Makhachev and miss weight against Justin Gaethje. Right? Volkanovski, literally not a featherweight, the featherweight GOAT, the greatest featherweight of all time in his prime. Is who Makhachev beat, and people tell you he beat a featherweight as if he fought fucking Dan Ige or something. Motherfuckers acting like bros defending the belt against Sean Woodson and shit. And now when Ilya fights him, apparently he's so traumatized from people making fun of him for fighting Volk that he's refusing to give Ilya a title shot. So we need to see Ilya versus a top contender. And I know one man that will step up and ruin all of this, and it's Dustin Poirier. Oh my God, I want to see this fight. First of all, make this 5 rounds. Co-main event to Jones Aspinall being 5 rounds of Ilya versus Dustin. You know what you're getting. You're getting a fucking brawl, dude. This is 100% fight of the year candidate right here. They're going to scrap in the pocket. Ilya's going to be emoting on him a little bit. Who's Joe? Dustin Poirier is going to be emoting, pointing to the center of the octagon, pointing at Ilya when he checks his kicks and shit. And I think this is the type of fight that, listen, I'm not going to say this is Ilya's Nate Diaz moment. I'm just saying it has a lot of potential to be his Nate Diaz moment. And for that reason, it's so intriguing to me because I think he beats Charles Oliveira. I think he loses to Islam Makhachev. I think Arman Sarukian is a very tough fight for him, but it's not like Arman beating him is not as hype as Dustin beating him. You know what I'm saying, dog? So I really want to see either Ilia Topuria, as much as this would hurt, dude, it would be kind of badass, if he goes up and smokes Dustin, and by that I mean gets pieced up for 2 rounds and then chins him, right? And he has a real claim to being the number 1 contender. He beat Dustin Poirier quicker than Islam Makhachev did. That sets up the super fight that we all want. Or, way better timeline, Dustin Poirier slips all his punches, counter punches him, rocks Ilia a little bit, loses the first round, gets taken down. Round 2, starts landing check hooks. Gotcha. Right? Pop up down the middle. Ilia kind of rocks a little bit. Dustin Poirier pieces him up against the fence, drops him. Hey, this is my house. This is my house, dude. It's not your time right now, kid. Listen, you're on the right track, dude. You're going to fight Islam next? You're going to fight Bilal? Listen, kid. Stay put, dude. Stay humble, man. In times like this, you got to be graceful, kid. This is my fucking house, dude. I told y'all not to fucking doubt me, dude. Dustin Poirier, please put on a salty masterclass against Ilia. I think this is the perfect co-main event. So imagine a fucking pay-per-view. Because the thing that pisses me off is Jones versus Aspinall being done is fucking awesome. But the UFC knows how badly we want this fight, how much we want to see this. The general public wants to see this fight. That I know the undercard is going to be fucking... Listen, kid, how do you not do Talison Teixeira versus Justin Tafatu as the co-main? This is a huge fight, right? Like, they're just going to put together fucking abominations under this fight. When, imagine a fucking pay-per-view of Jones Aspinall main event, Dustin Poirier, Ilia Topuria, co-main event, 5 rounds. You get Sean Strickland, Robert Whittaker sparring match, okay? Armin Sarkarian pissing off Dan Hooker, ruining his title run. And then Ian Gary and Colby Covington. I mean, come on, dude. These are fights that we all want to see. That realistically, what is stopping the UFC from putting this card together? These are all reasonable to be on a pay-per-view. Like, these all belong on the main card of a pay-per-view. And I think the timeline and the magnitude of Jones Aspinall, let's put together a fucking banger, bro. Because I'm going to make a video next week about UFC 316. I think that has potential to be a huge card. But International Fight Week has to be special, dog. It used to be crazy fights top to bottom. It used to be some, I'm not going to say UFC 300 type shit, but people remember UFC 226. If you're a hardcore, you remember how good UFC 226 was. They had fucking Anthony Pettis on the prelims, dude. Like, that was a banger fucking fight. Even Paul Felder, Mike Perry. Just a casual little fight they put on the prelims. Let's put together some banger International Fight Weeks, and I think this is a great example of what the UFC should be doing, all right? So that's my main card, and now I'm going to talk about my prelims, all right, dude? Because this is where I really shine. People, oh, bedtime, why are you the best matchmaker on YouTube? Because I build realistic cards, bro. I know I'm glazing myself here a little bit, but dude, I build realistic fights. I build good cards that the UFC could literally make today if they wanted to. And I put together hardcore prelims that everybody would fuck with, all right? Let's start things off on the Listen, we got a badass night of prelims here. First fight of the night, we got Peyton Talbot versus Damon Blackshear. Come on, dude. Come on, man. This is what I do. This is light work for me. This is the opening prelim. This is light work. I'm going to give you this for free on ESPN Plus, bro. I'm going to give you this for free on ESPN Deportes, dude. This is the type of shit I'm opening the prelims with. I think Peyton Talbot, he needs a bounce back fight, but I also feel like it would be very obvious what I'm doing if I just feed him fucking Ronnie Yaya or who's another fucking jobber at bantamweight. If I just fed him fucking, you know, dude, I'm trying to think of a name right now, dude. Someone that you just go, bro, what are you doing? You know, like if I feed him fucking Ricky Tercio, somebody like that, where it's just like, come on, man. We know what you're doing, right? Damon Blackshear, he has been chinned a couple of times. He has a couple of losses on his record, but he also has very good grappling, and he's a decent name. Like, if fucking Damon Blackshear beats you, it's not that bad. It's not a bad loss, but I also think this is a little bit of a step down. It's a little bit more winnable than the Barcelos fight, especially if Peyton Talbot actually stops getting in the studio with Frank Ocean, actually locks the fuck in and works on the jiu-jitsu. I think this would be a good test for him, but also a winnable matchup against a guy that I believe could be top 15. Like, both of these guys, they have top 15 potential in my opinion. So I think this is a cool matchup. Let's do Peyton Talbot versus Damon Blackshear. I'm sure the comments will not be recency biased at all and say Black Shear dominates it. I'm sure that won't be the consensus, all right, man? Next fight on the prelims that I want to see, Bryan Battle versus Oban Elliott. This is a sick fight, dude. Come on, man. Oban Elliott, this guy's a blockhead, bro. Holy shit, dude. Oh my god. Look at this guy, man. How do I explain this matchup? I think these are two decent names in the unranked section of welterweight that will never get a big fight. Oban Elliott, God bless this guy, man. He's begging for this Masvidal fight. Should I tell him or should you guys tell him? Brother, you are not getting him. Fucking Jorge Masvidal, bro. You beat Basil Hafez, bro. Just calm down, bro. You're not getting Masvidal, bro. You'd be lucky to get fucking Luque, honestly. I saw him asking about Luque as well. I don't think you're getting Luque, dude. I think the winner of this could get a Luque fight, maybe an MVP fight. But I think let's do Oban Elliott versus Bryan Battle. These are two unranked guys that are on a pretty decent win streak right now. The fans are kind of into both of these guys. I don't think it would hurt their stock if one of them lost, unless they got chinned or something. But this is a pretty decent fight to see where these guys are at. And like I said, I think the winner of this definitely deserves a top 15 opponent or someone like right outside the top 15, like Neil Magny or something. I think Bryan Battle versus Oban. And this is an interesting fight too. I think this would be a very clinch-heavy fight. I'd like to see it. Let's do Bryan Battle versus Oban the Blockhead Elliott, all right? Now, this next one, whoo, bro, I went crazy with this one, dude. You thought, oh man, Peyton Talbot, Damon Blackshear, that's a good fight, dude. Bryan Battle, Oban Elliott, that's all right, you know. You saw that main card, you're probably pretty happy with that. Yes, brother. Esteban Ribovic versus Miktabek Orolbai. I'm doing the Robbie Lawler celebration emote right now. My hands are up because I know I've just put together the greatest prelim of all time. Tell me what prelim tops this in UFC history. Tell me a better fight than this right now off the top of your head. I wish I could add Tom Nolan to this in like a triple threat match, bro. Because fucking, oh my god, man. Esteban Ribovic, Miktabek Orolbai. These are two guys that are coming off losses. Ribovic got robbed. But these guys have some of the most entertaining fights in the UFC. And they keep putting these guys on fucking Apex cards. Put these two in front of a crowd on the third last prelim when people are there. The only thing that disappoints me is that I know the Las Vegas fans will not show up until the main card, especially for a John Jones fight. But any amount of people in the building will hype this up. I think this has fight of the night written all over it. We're talking about a caveman versus a modern day influencer. I think this is a sick matchup. And this is like a hardcore WrestleMania matchup. Like this is every hardcore dude on Twitter's main event of the card. You know what I mean? This is the biggest fight you can make for Twitter nerds, dude. Let's do Ribovic versus Orolbai. I'm very proud of myself for making that one. I've got two prelims left to talk about, and these are big name ranked contenders that I think their fighting style in the matchup, it doesn't really fit being on the main card over the names I put on there. Like we've got Dan Hooker, Arman Saruki, and Ian Gary Colby. Like you're not going to get above any of these fights, right? But I do want to see these fights at International Fight Week. I think it's a big enough card you can justify putting some big names on the prelims. First one I want to see is the second to last prelim. Let's do Kaya Sakura versus my GOAT, Joshua Van, dude. You guys think the JDM glaze is bad? Wait till this kid's fucking fighting for the top 5, dude. I'm literally driving my homies around going, bro, you know Joshua Van used to make beats? I literally know this guy's lore, dude. I'm glazing the fuck out of this guy, man. And I think Joshua Van versus Kaya Sakura is a crazy striking matchup. Stop putting this guy with people that are trying to hump him, dude. Put him in there against someone exciting like Kaya Sakura, and let's see what happens. I think this is a fucking badass prelim fight to make. They're right next to each other in the rankings. I don't know why Joshua Van is not ranked. The rankings in the 15 through 10 section in the flyweight division make absolutely no sense. Tim Elliott hasn't fought in 10 years. He's literally still top 10. I think Joshua Van and Kaya Sakura right next to each other in the rankings. It's a sick fight. Fans would be super behind it. I think it would be very entertaining compared to some other fights that you could put in there against both of these guys. Like, I think you put some different guys in there against either Asakura or Van, and they're just spamming takedowns, right? They're trying to wrestle most of the fight. These two will just go and strike with each other, and I really want to see it. Let's do Kaya Sakura versus Josh. Listen, this Joshua Van kid, this blockhead kid, this kid's a superstar, all right? But headlining the prelims, I do this one for all my goofy goobers out there, man. A lot of these fights, they're pretty technical, right? They're pretty, high-level guys. We got a lot of bantamweights, flyweights, lightweights. I wanted to put something out there for the real meatheads of the UFC fan base. I'm included in that. I love watching two fucking just goobers scrapping. Come on, man. Come on, man. Paulo Costa, Roman Kopylov, who says no? This is a badass fight, dude. There's nothing else to say. I'm turning pink. I'm turning bold. I'm turning into Dana. This is a badass fight card, kid. We got Paulo Costa, Roman Kopylov. I think the striking exchanges would be very exciting in this matchup. I think both of these guys finish or get decisioned fighters, right? They kind of slow down as the fight goes on. I think this has like a street beefs level potential, but it also has the potential to be actually really, really good. Yeah, I love this fight. I really want to see this. That's my headliner of the prelims. You know what I'm saying? This is what the UFC should be doing. But knowing them, International Fight Week will have 2 unranked middleweight fights on the main card. And the featured fight will be fucking Doo Ho Choi. But let me know what you guys think down below. What do you think the UFC should do at International Fight Week? Let me know what other cards you'd like to see me build if you enjoy these videos. I used to do them a lot, but I haven't done them as much lately. But let me know if you enjoy it, man. Drop a like. Subscribe to the channel. Go follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bedtime MMA, and I will see you guys in the next video, man. Goodbye.